just kind of jumping away from the predictions real quick and getting into the game, we actually have some really big queued up matches, or kind of settings here, at least from Andreas G spawning in as the purple armadillo. We've got a bunch of bot factories in the air factory first. Interesting choice here, trying to get that early metal advantage, while his opponent, Monkey Soldier, spawning in as the white armadillo. We have another air factory too, so both players going immediately for that early air to get that quick air advantage. But it looks like Monkey actually deciding to go for a bomber and most likely an anti-air before getting the air fabricator to get that quick expansion, though Andreas has the scout plane at his base.
Absolutely. We've got, unfortunately, we did have the player start a little premature in this game, so apologies for the late start from our side. But yes, both players immediately trying to grab the medal. This is the Rock system, so one of Uber Entertainment Systems, 2 planets. Fairly equal medal distribution, 98 on Cross, 96 on Judge. Single heli on the Judge planet, enough to launch it and, I believe, take out both planets. So rather a bit of a last-ditch thing there. So we see that Monkey Soldier going for some early expansion there, though crippling his economy a little. Andreas G starting out with a bit of air there to start scouting at his opponent, see what's going on. Monkey Soldier a little later to get his air up and about.
But that bomber with Andreas G with the fantastic double bomber, or the bomber killing off the 2 fabricators, getting the 3rd. Very big pickups, though, from Andreas G. I think he's going to be fishing for more. That bomber's smelling blood or on the ground, I guess. Looks like he's actually going to play it cautious, though.
Well, that was a couple of nice early wins there from Andreas G. A couple of fabbers this early in the game. That's really positive, and you can already see the difference in the ecos between the 2 players there. Though Andreas struggling a little on his energy front. Perhaps a few too many fabbers for the energy he's been constructing there, but already taking a bit of a lead in the army count. So Monkey Soldier's going to have to play catch up now.
I do like this choice, though, out of Andreas G. Just using his early air factory to just get a few more scout planes, especially on a map like Cross, where, I mean, it's just really big. Map awareness is going to be absolutely huge. Having scout planes just all over the place is going to be fantastic, especially for a map like this, where your opponent's really going to have to kind of secure their base, turtle it just a little bit to make sure, you know, you can really sustain the economy and then start looking at the rest of the map, especially with the, 3, 6, 9, I mean, there's at least a good 18 or 19 metal in the base already, so that's usually just enough for most players to just kind of go out and start kicking each other's teeth in. It's going to be really important to try and secure the base before you really start looking outside of it, unlike most maps like Duat or Berg, for example.
Yeah, another pickup there from Monkey Soldier as well, picking up, from Andreas G, picking up another one of Monkey Soldier's fabbers, a poorly positioned Hummingbird. But we see now that Monkey Soldier's starting to get back with his own air force, scout the outskirts, try and shut down the expansion of Andreas G, who is unfortunately floating with that eco lead that he's taken. So right now, in real income, it's relatively equal between the 2 players. We see equal factories, equal fabbers, just a small army lead for Andreas G right now. So it's still all up for grabs.
While he's doing this, as you did say, he really does need to get this floating eco down. I mean, he should have known, if he was going to go for this air fabricators, that he was going to have quite a bit of extra metal. He really needs to just kind of get that giant economy that he's got. It's 96 metal for Monkey Soldier versus 131 for Andreas G. I mean, if he wasn't floating, his economy would be absolutely just the strongest thing to try and beat in Monkey Soldier, and the thing is right now he's just not using to his advantage. I think we saw this last time when we were casting Andreas G. He had that really strong economy, he just didn't really know how to flex his muscles to kind of guarantee his victory, and it looks like we might be seeing a little bit of that from this game.
Well, Andreas G now starting to get his bots out there. He's looking around. One of his groups got intercepted by Monkey Soldier, but another one sneaking around the back. There's enough there that it could take out some of those metal extractors around the back, and even on his other flank, more docks running around there, chasing down a lone fabber. And unfortunately, Monkey Soldier's gone for a very defensive air build. A lot of hummingbirds, no bumblebees, so he's got no easy means to take out those docks. And those docks know that fabber's there. They're chasing it down, and it's going down. And that is another fabber loss there for Monkey Soldier.
Monkey Soldier definitely needs to stay on point with his fabricator control. If he's going to keep losing these, I mean, economically, he's just going to start falling farther and farther behind. And yeah, as you had mentioned, there's really no bumblebees in this air army, and especially on a map like this where mobility is going to be absolutely crucial. Docks for their mobility are great, but if you can get the bombers to just pick off a fabricator, pick off maybe a docks army that might be trying to scuttle towards you, it can be really big and can quite easily turn the tides of this battle.
Yeah, we see yet another fabber picked off there by Andreas G. Trying to set up a turret to protect against these Docks raids, but it was too late, and the Docks were out of position and chasing that group. And right now, Andreas G is really dictating the play here. He's got his Docks running all around. He's taking out metal extractors at the edges. So Monkey Soldier playing some catch up, but starting to get a tighter grip on it. We can see he's starting to move his own Docks groups across towards Andreas G, who once again is floating. He's not keeping his production up with his expansion, but he has got the bombers. They could go in and shut down some of these Docks attacks. Perhaps Monkey Soldier needs to be a bit more aggressive with his hummingbirds.
I was going to say, I think the Docks push was the first time that we have actually seen Monkey Soldier's bots on the other side of the planet here. It looks like Andreas G has just been keeping the map pressure on Monkey Soldier's side, and you can really see him just kind of really paying for it. I mean, bombers nowhere to be found for Monkey Soldier. Fabricators, they just keep dying. I mean, metal expansions in his own base. He's got 3, 4, 5 metal extractors that need to be captured. I mean, right next to his commander. He can quite literally just walk those over since his commander is just sitting there having some tea right now. Really just needs to kind of get some security over his base if he wants to win this match. And right now, Andreas G, though he is surplusing on the metal, is taking very strongly to keeping the pressure on the opposite side of this planet.
Monkey Soldier, unfortunately, they're losing a number of his attacking Docks to Bumblebees, and for some reason not having any Hummingbird support nearby for his primary attack force. But then Andreas G hasn't finished the job, and they're now going to start taking out some of the nearby metal extractors. Andreas G using ground troops to shut that down, but Monkey Soldier's looking more and more in trouble. If I was him at this point, I'd have perhaps been thinking about getting off this planet, but there's an orbital raid up from Andreas G. He's ready for any quick orbital plays here. The amount of metal on the other planet does mean that you don't have to hold cross, but if he's really in that much trouble, he could be chased down pretty quickly and destroyed.
I really do like the early deep space radar. It's not necessary, but it's just another kind of like, it keeps that thought in the back of your mind. Well, if I need to go orbital, I can. Well, if my opponent goes orbital, I'll know before he even knows that I know. And of course, the mind games would eventually set in. But some Docks here for Andreas G just kind of sitting around, I guess, enjoying the last bits of their life as this bomber slowly kills every single one of them off. Really kind of brutal. I mean, Andreas G definitely could have grabbed that extra metal extractor. That was right next to the bots, but I guess he just didn't want to have to deal with it. Some more Docks from Andreas, moving straight into the army of Monkey Soldier, but it looks like another wave of Docks from Andreas G is going to start moving in. Docks now fighting Docks, and it looks like, I guess Monkey Soldier feels like he's in an early commanding position, but I mean, looking at general map presence, Andreas G is just all over this map with his just Docks, his air, his fabrication. Everything has just been everywhere for him. And as we've said before, his economy is absolutely fantastic, but he just needs to understand how to control it.
Yeah, Monkey Soldier, he's been expanding in a different direction, but he hasn't done a very good job of protecting those expansions. If he's going to be that aggressive with the fabrics, you're going to need some level. You're going to need to get some Bumblebees out there, shut down any raiding groups. That your own Docks simply not going to be fast enough to catch raiding groups like that. But we see Andreas G now. He's got Docks all over the map. He's covering the whole back of the planet against the Monkey Soldier trying to expand out that way. He's got a bomber covering the little metal raised platform on the rear of the planet. He's everywhere. He's really got an eye out for any expansions going at Monkey Soldier, who's going to really struggle to close that economic gap now as we see the production gap between the two of them widening.
Interestingly enough, we do finally see a tier 2 vehicle factory here out of Andreas G. I think this is actually the first time in this entire series that we have seen tier 2, so really nice to finally see it coming out, though it is the semifinals, which might be a little bit late, but hey, always glad to see it. I just think the biggest reason that Monkey Soldier's just been kind of further and further behind was just he did build the air factory from the beginning, but instead of going for that fabricator, he went for the bomber, which really didn't help him at all, just because fabricators don't exactly die to bumblebees, and he didn't really get any air fabricators of his own, and by the time he did, it was just Andreas G knew that there were going to be air fabricators, so he was looking around for them. He had the anti-air, he had just everything kind of waiting, and it was really just everything seemed to kind of click in Andreas G's favor.
Well, the tier 2 does give Microsoft an opportunity to get back into this, though, because that's a long build time, that's quite an expense, so that gives him a window whereby he can try and play a bit of catch-up there, but it's a very limited window. He sent some raiders around the back, unfortunately ran to an army, probably not the best use of them there, I think. He needs to better scout what Andreas's base layout looks like.
Oh,
so
these dogs are just shooting the hummingbirds. Sent them in there. Sorry for interrupting you really quick. Just to notice that the Docks were just kind of walking straight underneath these hummingbirds, and the hummingbirds just weren't really caring. I mean, I think he lost about 5 or 6 of them just to Docks anti-air alone, which is, I mean, horrible miss micro there.
Well, we're seeing now the docks from Monkey Soldier disengaging from a confrontation there with Andreas G's Bolos. He's trying to reinforce them, otherwise these Bolos are going to roll right into a hell of a lot of damage. But I'm not sure there's enough of them there yet, and they're pulling back further into the base. But there's just docks and bumblebees just everywhere on this map right now. Monkey Soldier is really looking tight for space, but he's still not getting off the planet. He's still sticking with trying to fight it out on this planet. And I'm not really sure that's going to work out well for him. I think Andreas G's got this planet pretty well locked down at this point.
I think if he was going to start Orbital, he probably should have started about 4 or 5 minutes ago. At this point, yeah, I agree. The tanks are quite literally in Monkey Soldier's base. His commander on the other side trying to make some factories, which he really needed 4 or 5 minutes ago. I think it's just been a matter of Andreas G's been always kind of finding and killing off the expansion of Monkey Soldier, and Andreas G's just been expanding from the backside of that, so he's just been playing quite flawlessly, really. The only thing I want to critique him on is just he's been floating quite a lot. In that early game, he had a very strong advantage economically alone that he really could have used to pressure even more to Monkey Soldier, though he didn't need to, it looks like in this game.
Well, Monkey Soldier now rolling around with the Doc's Force on the back of the planet trying to clear up some of these mechs, but I fear, unfortunately, it's a bit too late for him. He's got to run to a rather large tank force as he rolls towards the base of Andreas G. And once again, I don't think he's got any vision going into that base at all. And it did, in actual fact, looking at the vision that Monkey Soldier has, I don't think he's scouted Andreas G at all. He has absolutely no idea what factories are in there or what the forces look like. He really needs to scout that out. He's just sending in forces blind, and that Doc's force is picked off by tanks that they just ran straight into.
Of course, Vision, quite literally, either you win it or you lose it, and right now Monkey Soldier is losing it hard. So far, we have a factory count from Monkey Soldier of 17 against Andreas G's 26, plus the tier 2 that is already at 89% completed. So Andreas G, once this tier 2 is done, my friend, you are going to roll through Monkey Soldier's base. You just need to get it done, and really, I think all he needs to do is just contain. We've got a big Docks army, Docks, Grenadier, and actually an anti-air. I like to see that vehicle anti-air, the spinner, moving from the backside, going to start working its way towards, I guess, the backside of Cross here. It's just the slow, soft contain right now is all that Andreas G needs to really win this match. Once he has the tier 2 out, he can get a couple shellers out and then find the commander, which he knows quite literally is walking towards some more metal. He's going to see the commander, clean that up, maybe apply a little more pressure. Once the sheller comes out, man, it's going to be over.
Yeah, right now Andreas G needs to get that tier 2 economy up, because his efficiency means that even though he's got the factory lead, in terms of actual output, he's not producing anything more than Monkey Soldier is. He's sort of living off his early wins, but he's got Monkey Soldier so well contained at this point. Monkey Soldier making another push into Andreas G's base, and let's see what he can see of that. And again, no scouting done. He's got no idea what lies ahead of him. He's just moving his troops around blind, and they keep getting picked off. And I think at this point it's just a matter of time before Andreas G wears him down. Andreas G perhaps not being as efficient as he could with his attacks, but he's attacking from every direction. He's just got so many troops now. And as you say, once those shellers start to roll out, it's really going to be all over.
Well, the problem is I'm looking at Andreas G's base, and he is getting the tier 2 out. The problem is he's continuing to build and expand, and as you had mentioned, you know, he had quite a few very strong early game wins, and as he does start trading out those wins for the tier 2, for more factories, the problem with that is he's wearing down his own economy even more, and while Monkey Soldier might have less, he's starting to actually get ahead in the efficiency, and as long as you have the greater efficiency, you can win just about any match regardless of how many factories your opponent has. You might have 100 versus your 50, but as long as you're at 100%, you're producing twice as many as your opponent is.
Well, Andreas G right now is sitting in the base of Monkey Soldier, just shelling factories. Unfortunately, not coordinating his troops properly, so they're just firing at whatever comes into range. But I think it's a sign of just how easy it is for him now to push into that base. And we look at the map control that Monkey Soldier has, and he literally has nothing outside of his initial starting area behind those crevasses. He has been so effectively contained by Andreas G. Andreas G continuing to tank his economy, but at this point, the troop lead he has is just growing. He's got, what, 380 troops, still 170 of Monkey Soldier. So he needs to get the economy back under control, but I've seen some tier 2 fabbers out there, so he's slowly working on the problem, and Monkey Soldier is just losing his grip on this game completely.
Losing the grip, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like trying to climb up a pole with oil on your hands, and Monkey Soldier is probably about to see the fat lady sing here with this commander quite literally getting chased down by an army and a half. Combat Combat. Hello there, Combat Fabber. What are you doing here in this army? Interesting little. It's always nice to see the Combat Fabber. Always good for that healing factor, though it's in the back of the army. This commander's definitely going to need to get back behind his units and maybe even just build up a few walls if he wants to try to defend this. The problem with that is, though, Grenadiers are absolutely fantastic at attacking with sieges or trying to be defensive. Looks like the... Whoa, the BMGG, though!
And there goes the GG.
Rude! Rude!
Yep, Andreas G giving a slightly premature GG there, and we have seen in the past that come back to bite people, where they've declared GG a little prematurely and gone on to lose a game.
All right, I want everyone else against him to win. Nope, that's so rude. Why you gotta be so rude?
Well, unfortunately,
but there is a well played at the end.
That's that's a first game there too, and Andreas G against Bucky Soldier. This is best of 3, so we will be going into another game shortly. But let's just take a quick review there. I just answered that combat Fabber there. He appeared to be bringing that up. He had a teleporter queued up for it, so I think he was just looking to get his troops onto the front line faster, especially
very
with
smart.
tier 2. But that got cancelled. I absolutely just decided he was going to go straight for the win. But what to say about this game? I mean, early on, we just see a lot of Fabber losses, and it felt like it just spiraled from there, really.
I was going to say the biggest reason that he lost, honestly, was that bomber from the beginning there with Monkey Soldier. That bomber it didn't do anything. I mean, all of Andreas G's fabricators were in the air, and... Personally, whenever I start with an air... actually, let me rephrase that. I never start with air because it's a horrible decision. It looks like it is on the right one on the cross, though. A hummingbird is so much more efficient. You can get the scouting with it. You can, kill off any air fabricators, especially on cross, apparently, I can understand his decision, though, with the bomber. Obviously, trying to get the fabricators that Andreas G might have had. The problem was... Andreas G went air, and he went for the double air fabricators, and that just... I think it won him the game, personally.
Yeah, well, really, Monkey Soldier, very poor scouting that game. As we can see from his vision, he didn't have any idea what was going on in Andreas G's base. And when Andreas G's got air fabbers this early on, I mean, that is a golden opportunity to score some easy wins. It's a real surprise to see that the person who's gone land fabbers is the one who's getting raided and losing the fabbers over the player who's gone with the air fabbers, which is incredibly easy to take out. A very risky play, but it's completely paid off for him. And unfortunately, some poor positioning by Monkey Soldier, poor scouting, and just allowing way too many fabbers to die early on. Even at the beginning of the game, this is the 4-minute mark, he's already a good third behind in terms of production. He's well behind, and he never clawed that back.
Definitely. I want to jump... Okay, here we go. So at about... Let's go with 4:18. Let's just go with 4 minutes, 18 seconds here. I mean, economically, we can see it already. Monkey Soldier only at 75 metal versus Andreas G's 103. The problem that I can see with Andreas G going into the second and possibly third match, because of the BMGG, is he's going to be floating a lot of his metal. And if Monkey Soldier can figure out how to stay at 100%, longer than he was in that game, figure out a way to protect his fabricators a lot better, he's going to do fantastic against Andreas G's biggest issue, which is floating his metal. We saw this in this game, we saw this in last game, or I think the last, in the group stages, excuse me. He just always has this issue with floating his metal, and if Andreas G really wants to get into the finals, he needs to find a way to keep his efficiency, at 100% while not surplusing.